I've got Donald Trump on the phone. Donald, your thoughts on what's going on?
Well, I got to Chicago about 2 hours ago, and we had 25,000 people that tried to come in, and supporters, all supporters. And at the same time, there were protesters. And when I met with the various law enforcement agencies, Greg, I decided that it was looking a bit, I don't want to see people get hurt, and I don't want to see people get hurt or worse. And I decided very strongly to make a decision not to do it and to postpone the rally. It was a big rally and a tremendous rally with tremendous people, but I just don't want to see people get hurt. Any people on either side. You know, we have such a divided country now. It's been so divided under this president, and I've been saying it for a long time. I've been witnessing it in so many different forms. It's just something that has to be straightened out. You know, you look at, as an example, African-American youth, 59% unemployment rate. There's a lot of anger out there. There's no question. And there's a lot of anger on the other side, big anger on the other side, because we're losing our jobs. We're losing our manufacturing. We're losing so much. And there's tremendous anger out there on both sides.
Donald, how do you calm these people at this point? You know, how do you say that the country's divided? I'll give you that. But how do you unite it? I mean, these people, a lot of them showed up to support you inside, a lot, but a lot showed up outside, obviously not wanting you to speak.
Well, we had a lot of people inside, that's true, and I hated to say don't do it, but I don't want to see any of the people hurt, either inside or outside. And law enforcement said, you know, they just don't have enough men to cover. You have 25,000 people trying to come. In fact, we were able to get in touch with thousands of people so they didn't come. So that we had, you know, like probably 10,000 people we were able to ward off so they didn't come by saying, you know, we're just not going to hold the rally today. We're going to postpone it, which I think turned out to be good. And I think it was a very good thing that we were able to do. I think what we did was intelligent after seeing, and I'm watching your show now, after seeing what's on the show, I just think it was a very good decision. I do not want to see people hurt.
There's an 80-year-old woman that we interviewed, that Jeff Flock of Fox Business Network interviewed in the last hour, who said that she came out to protest because she said that you use hate speech. What do you say to that woman?
Well, I don't use hate speech. I don't use hate speech. I mean, we have a country, and the country has to be, I'm just watching your show right now with that car. That's pretty serious stuff with the car and the people standing in front of the car. There's tremendous division in our country. I've seen it. I've been watching it. I'm witness to it. And something has to be done. When you look at the unemployment among certain groups of people, it's incredible. There's just a tremendous division in the country.
Do you play any role in that division or not?
I don't think so. I represent a large group of people that have great anger, and they're not angry people, but they have anger at the stupidity of what's happening in our country. Our jobs are being taken out of our country and given to China and Mexico and every other country probably there is. I mean, our businesses are being taken away from us. Our businesses are being moved out of the country. Look at Ford. They're building their biggest plant in Mexico. Look at, you know, they're not building it here. They're building it in Mexico. What good does that do for us? And then they sell cars. They don't pay tax. They don't do anything. They sell cars across the border. Look at Carrier last week. They go out. They're 1,400 jobs. They're moving to Mexico. You look at Pfizer. Pfizer's moving to Ireland. We're losing all our businesses because we have incompetent leaders. And it means jobs. And people, you know, people in 12 years haven't had a pay increase. The middle-income people, the workers, the real workers, the backbone of the country, in 12 years they haven't had a pay increase. And it's crazy. And then you wonder, why are they angry? So there's a lot of anger, but I think we did the right thing, because if we would have had the rally, I think it would have been something that would have been not a good situation.
When you use tough language, when people break up your events, and like, you know, punch in the nose or get that person out of here, are you sort of giving ammunition to protesters who say that you're the bully?
Well, I don't think so, because, frankly, you know, we haven't really had a problem. We had a little bit today where we had some individual people stand up, and it was annoying because it was probably 7 or 8 of them where they stood up in pretty much individual fashion and started, you know, disrupting a little bit, and the police did a great job. That was in St. Louis. But here, this was crazy. Well, we looked, we had thousands and thousands of people pouring in as supporters, and we had far smaller amounts, but still a few thousand people outside as protesters. And, you can't even, I mean, think of it, you're not even allowed in a peaceful rally. You can't even have a peaceful rally today in a major city in the United States, which is a terrible thing. But, Chicago is the home to some pretty rough rallies. If you look at the convention many years ago, the Democrat convention many years ago, that was a pretty bad thing. A lot of people hurt, a lot of people killed. I didn't want to see anything like that happen.
Well, Donald, it hasn't, I mean, as we're sort of struggling to figure out what's going on there and to think about it, I mean, this is not a demonstration against war or economic conditions. This is a protest, as I understand it, against your free speech. They're using free speech. They have a right to peaceful protest to try to shut you down from your free speech.
No, I think this is a demonstration against economic conditions on both sides. I think on one side they can't get jobs at all. You have 59% unemployment with the African-American youth. And on the other side, they haven't been given a pay increase in 12 years because our businesses are leaving our country. So this is very economic. This has a lot to do with jobs, has a lot to do with incompetent running of a country. A lot of this is the fact that they just, I mean, you look at middle-income people, the workers, the backbone of our nation, they haven't had a pay increase in 12 years. They are very angry people, Greta, and I will tell you, they're not angry by nature, but they're very angry people. And so you have that side. On the other side, to a large extent, you have African-American youth has a 59% unemployment rate.
So what happened?
I think it's very economic.
I don't think there's any perfect answer on how to handle this tonight. I mean, there's no perfect answer. On the one hand, canceling the rally eliminates some of the risk of more trouble. On the other hand, it's also an indication to people who shut down your rally that if they follow you to the next city, they might get that done, which then stifles your voice. So, I mean, I'm not sure that there's a right answer.
They haven't shut down the rally at all because it's on television now, Greta, and we're getting far more people watching it now than we would have if we had them in the arena. And people are seeing that we're being stifled, that free speech is being stifled. So actually, they haven't shut down the rally. A big point has been made, and we'll see what happens. But people should be able to rally in Chicago. I mean, we're talking about Chicago. They should be able to rally in Chicago. But I don't think anything's been shut down. First of all, it's been postponed, and we'll do it again. But, we had 25,000 people so we had 25,000 people coming. Some would have to be outside, and we were able to get many of those people not to show up based on the fact that we saw early on that there could be conflict. And if there's conflict, we don't want to see people hurt.
Do you get scared at all, Donald, when you watch this stuff, worry about for yourself?
No, I don't get scared. I really don't get scared. I see it. It's part of life. It's happened. I've seen it over the years many times. It's tough stuff, but it could have been a lot tougher if we decided to go through. I think we made a very wise decision. It's all calmed down now, they say, and I think we made a very wise decision to say that, we're not going to do it tonight. We'll do it another time. We've had very successful rallies, Greta. I've had 35,000, 40,000 people at rallies, and we've never had a problem. This is the first time we've really had a problem.
If you're elected president, how do you convince those people who are outside tonight that you're their president?
Well, we have to get them jobs. We have to bring economics back. You look at what's going on with the economy. The economy's terrible, and everybody knows it. The 5% unemployment is a number that doesn't exist. It's probably 25%, maybe more than that. I mean, you look for a job and you give up looking for the job, and they consider you statistically unemployed, and then they consider you employed. So it's a mix-up like you've never seen before. That's a statistic that was meant for politicians to look good, and it bears no relationship to the real life or to the facts. I mean, we have a tremendous unemployment rate, and nobody understands that. But when you look at a thing like this, you understand the economics of the country for people living in our country have not been good. And again, middle-income people haven't had a raise in 12 years effectively, and that's pretty sad.
If it's jobs and the economy, it looks like the people outside are blaming you because they're protesting you.
Well, they have people protesting me. They also have many more people saluting me. I mean,
no,
we
I know
turned
that,
away.
but I mean, I'm
We
talking
turned
about
away. Don't forget, Greta. We turned away 25,000 supporters, and those people are on our side. So now a lot of them have left or are leaving, and which would be a good thing, frankly, because I don't want to see conflict. And there's potential for conflict. Had I done it, I think we've been given a lot of praise for having done what we did. Had I done it, which would have been in a way easier, but I think you would have had a lot of problems tonight if I did it.
Well, if we manage to get through the night with very few arrests, no violence, no one hurt, we can. I mean, there is something to be said about the First Amendment.
Then you'll say I did a good job. But the First Amendment is affected because you're not allowed to have free speech in a major city in the United States. That's not very good.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that there's the First Amendment on the outside of the arena, but there's no First Amendment inside the arena because you got shut down.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a little bit unfair to the people. You know, when you're turning away 25,000 people, that's pretty bad. I mean, it's a pretty sad situation. 25,000 great people coming to see a rally, enthusiastic about it, and you're turning them away. That's pretty sad.
How are you going to do in Illinois on Tuesday?
I think we're going to do well. I mean, I don't know what effect this has. A lot of people say this is a positive in terms of votes, but I don't view it one way or the other. People don't like to see what's happening. This is what's going in our country, Greta. Look, we have a very divided nation. We have a tremendously divided nation, and I've been saying it for a long time. I've been saying it for years. Our nation is totally divided. In many ways, it's divided. And one of the ways it's divided is white, black. We have so many different sets of divisions, and hopefully we'll be able to bring it together. I'm a unifier. President Obama has not been a unifier. He has been a divider. I'm a unifier. I'll bring people together. We have to start by getting them jobs. We can't lose our jobs, Greta, to every nation in the world, and we have kids that can't get a job and they have no hope of ever having a job.
Is there any other way to help be a unifier than jobs? Is there more to this?
Yeah, there will be, outreach programs and everything else, but still, jobs is always going to be number one. Getting people jobs will always be the best and the longest lasting way.
Some people have written into me during the show, and they're critical of the conditions in Chicago, and they say that it's conducive to this type of environment. There's been a lot of unrest in Chicago, a lot of gang violence, a lot of things. He said just sort of there's a real general unhappiness in Chicago. Then I have people who write in and say that you're the divider.
Well, look, you should be able to have a rally, and the rallies are very important. We should be able to have a rally in a major city in this country without having to have such a big deal. I think this is, in a way, it's important. It shows what's going on in the United States. It shows a problem that we have in the United States, and we're going to have to overcome it, and we will overcome it. But it all starts, it's an economic problem. It all starts, people want to be able to get increases. They want to be able to work. They want to be able to have good jobs, and at least they want to be able to have a job. We don't have that in this country.
The protesters outside, they didn't say they want jobs and their chance. They say stop Trump.
Well, look, I mean, they are a much smaller number than the 25,000 people, but everybody has an opinion. I mean, they feel that way. You win an election 55 to 45, and they consider it a landslide. So, they certainly have their opinion, but my supporters have their opinion too, and you see how strong they are.
What did the police say to you when you arrived? What did they say about what they anticipated?
Well, they said we have a massive crowd of supporters that are going into the arena. At the same time, we have a lot of protesters, a couple of thousand protesters. And I told them, I said, I don't want to see them clash, because if they clash, a lot of bad things are going to happen, Greta.
The crowds are still there, Donald. They're not thinning, it looks like. I thought that they were, but we see pictures where they're shoving and pushing, and it still looks pretty heated.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at your pictures, in all fairness, Greta, and you've been playing the same pictures for the last half hour, It is actually getting thinner. You're playing the same pictures with the punching and all for the last half hour, so, because I've seen them about 10 times now watching your show. But listen, thank you,
Actually,
Greta. I really appreciate it.
You know what, Donald? You know what? I've seen this one before, too. I got to tell you. You know, you're right on this picture. I've seen this video before,
No,
too.
they keep showing the same punches for, you know, I've seen now the one about 10 times already. So you understand. So I don't blame you for doing that, but you understand.
This may come as a big surprise to you, but, you know, I'm looking at this live as you are. You know, all this, as it's happening, this has been breaking news.
No, it's very much sitting out. I think we made a really good decision. But, you know, our First Amendment rights have been violated. We should be able to speak, and it should be freedom of speech, and we shouldn't be stopped. But most importantly for tonight, it looks like it's breaking up very nicely, and I think the police have done a good job, and everybody's done a good job.
Do you think you get more votes after tonight or less after tonight in Illinois?
Everybody tells me I get more votes. We made a wise decision, and everybody tells me I get more votes. I don't know. I didn't do it for votes. I did it because I didn't want to see people hurt.
As you look at this, any regrets on running as you look at all this chaos?
No, we're going to make America great again, Greta. We're going to make America great again. That's what it's all about. That's the theme, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's very important. We will make America great again.
Well, Donald, I'm probably the only anchor, as I've said before, who's ever actually represented people in court on the First Amendment. I really like the First Amendment, as long as there's no violence.
Right. Well, that's what we have. We have potential for violence, and I think we've stopped it. I think it's been quelled, and I think we made a very good decision tonight in terms of safety of people. So thank you very much, Greta.
Thank you, Donald.
Thank you very much. Bye.